myself Vaibhav. In today's session of Visual JForex, we will be continuing our algorithm development using the indicator Stochastic. So let us get started. This is the Visual JForex board which has been developed by the Dukascopy Bank SA. In the last two sessions, the setup has been completed this far. The instrument subscription was done. The position amount was defined at 0. Then I got this stochastic blocks of the varying time periods. First two are of 4 hours, these two are of 15 minutes. And after that, to consider the price action, we are also relying on the gate historical candle. This first one is of 4 hourly time frame, a second is 15 minutes, and then these two are of 10 seconds each. The calculation expression blocks have been used to define the difference. We are also considering the difference of last 4 hours high and low, and we want it to be more than 25 pips. So for that, these two calculation expressions blocks were used. And on the lower side, this buy side is complete. I will not really go into the details as we have already gone through it in the last section. You can always refer to the second part of this stochastic indicator development sessions. So now I will give you a brief refresher of the underlying logic using which we are going to execute the sell trade. This is the Euro USD chart on the 4 hourly time frame, and we want to be looking for the sell trade whenever we have the stochastic values on decline. So we will be using the last 4 hour stochastic output, and its K value should be below the D value. Slow percent K should be lower than slow percent D, and also it should be lower compared to the penultimate 4 hourly candles output for the stochastic. So it should be on decline, and it should also be within the band. Its slow percent K value should be below 80, and the slow percent D value should be above 20. So within this band, the trading should happen. The trade should not be initiated whenever we have the overbought or oversold scenario playing out on the 4 hourly time frame, and that's why this output band is being defined. Once the conditions are in place on the 4 hourly time frame, we shift our attention to the lower time frame of 15 minutes. On the 15 minutes, we want the trade to be initiated as and when we have the crossover happening, and this crossover when the slow percent K value dips below the slow percent D value in last 15 minutes, we will be looking to initiate the sell trade provided the last 15 minutes output for slow percent K and slow percent D are still above 50. So not too much of an move on the lower side should have happened, and this should be the early movers advantage kind of trade where we have seen already enough of retracement, and the larger trend is of 4 hourly, and now on the shorter time horizon also the resumption is happening. So that's the kind of scenario we want to play out using this algorithmic setup. So now we head back to the Visual JForex board, and we will need to make sure that the conditions which we are going to use for the execution of the sell trade should be symmetric with these conditions which we have done for the buy side. These two sides should be kind of mirror images of each other. Okay, so with that in mind, we get started for the work ahead, and we are going to need a lot of it blocks. I don't exactly remember, but I think 13 blocks were used while defining the conditions for the trade on the buy side. So naturally, we are going to need similar number of blocks. Again, we have these 4 and 3 7 blocks, and a couple of more will be needed. All right. First thing first, we want to make sure that in last 4 hours, the slow K value is below the slow D value. So slow K12 needs to be lower than slow D12. First input less than second input, and slow K12 should also be less than slow K24. This block has a loopback period of 2, so there is the penultimate candle of the 4 hours, and first input less than second input. Low D, and here first input less than second input, and we also have to make sure that these two output values are within the predefined band. So we will need slow K12 to be below 80, first input less than second input, and slow D12 to be above 20. Okay, first input greater than second input. After that, we will have to make sure that the conditions are defined well for the lower time frame also. So now, turning to the 15-minute candles, we have to look for the crossover. So in this case, we will need slow K16 to be below the slow D16. This is the last 15-minute stochastic value. Slow K16 less than slow D16. But in the penultimate hour, the slow K value should have been above the slow D. So we will need slow K17 to be greater than slow D17, first input greater than second input. And as I said, we also have to make sure that not too much of a price move has already taken place. So there is limit of making sure that slow percent K value is still above 50. Will have to be added. So slow K16 will need to be above 50. Okay. First input greater than second input. So we have defined these conditions. Now moving to the price action data. Let me see if I had considered the slow D value also last time around. Yes, slow D value was also considered. just to make symmetric, I will have to add the same condition. But now I'm realizing, as we have already added the condition that the slope k needs to be less than slow d16, and slow k16 value is above 50. That means naturally slow d16 value will also be above 50. But now, as a matter of symmetry, I will add it. But now I'm realizing the earlier mistake. So just clarifying. First input less than second input. Moving on to the price action data, we have to make sure that there has been enough volatility, so high-low difference needs to be more than 25 pips. So here we will have to define that first input should be greater than second input. Alright, with this we can shift our attention to the price action. And we will need last 15-minute candle to have closed lower. So slow candle 19's close should have been below its opening value. Candle 19 candle close needs to be candle 19 candle open. First input less than second input. And after this, we want to initiate the trade whenever price starts to drop below the last 15-minute candle close. So we will have to compare this candle 20 and candle 21's close with candle 19's close. We will need candle 21 to have closed higher, and then the candle 20 should close lower than the candle 19 close. So in this case, this will be the common input for both these blocks. This should have been first input greater than second input, and after that candle 20 should have closed lower. So with this, I think we are done with defining the conditions. But here we had used 13 blocks, and if I'm not wrong, this time around we have used yes, 13 blocks have been used. Okay, so after this, the overnight market block will come in, and this is going to be the sale trade. This will need to be made into sale amount, and let us get these blocks, all these where they belong. Okay. Here these will need to be joined to the multiple action, and candle 20 is closed, need to be below candle 19 is closed, so we will have to take first input less than second input. Now coming to the parameters for the trade command block, we have to define them as per the buy trade command. We have to make sure that all the input parameters match with what we had done for the buy side. So this is going to be the Euro USD as a default instrument. Trade amount I will change to 0.1 million. Slippage will be changed to 2 pips. And since we are dealing with the 15 minutes time frame, I think the combination of 10 and 20 is good enough. 10 pips stop loss, 20 pips target price. Fair enough. So with this, the setup is complete. The trade iteration flow is coming till the very end. This color coded yellow string is showing precisely that. And I hope you have been able to understand the logic, and hopefully you will be able to develop and design the similar format on your own Visual JForex board. Then you should test it on the JForex platform on the historical data to see whether it is profitable or not, and only after that you can use it on your live or demo account as the case may be. Thank you all for joining in. Do subscribe to the Dukascopy webinar channel to stay updated on the market development. See you next time. Till then, goodbye.